Hello everyone, this is HESES here, back to some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1v1 action. Now I'm going to introduce our players in just a moment. I'm going to talk about the map in just a moment, and I'm going to talk about the game in just a moment. But I want to let everyone know that if you missed my live stream yesterday, well, at the time of casting this, it was yesterday, I streamed for over 6 hours with commentary during the entire stream. So if I sound a little bit tired, if I sound a little bit winded, it's because I streamed for 6 hours, and my God, will that take it out of you. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying to get level 90 by leveling up all 3 races, and I have 2 more levels to go on Zerg, and then I'll be level 90. So I've been going balls to the wall on that, because being Masters and level 90, I feel pretty good about the amount of StarCraft I'm playing at that point. But until then, it's bugging me. It's like playing WoW and not being max level. It's just addicting until you get to the max level. So 2 levels away from that. Anyways, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Up at the top left side, it is going to be My Insanity's Stardust. And down the bottom right side, it is going to be My Insanity's Niroxs. That's how I'm going to say it. Hopefully that is correct. My apologies, Mr. Nero, I can call him for short, if I'm messing that up. Right now we're going to have a little bit of probe harassment here, trying to delay the mining of those drones. It looks like Niroxs is counteracting that just by spam clicking himself there. All that does is delay minerals, and they'll have about 5 or 10 less minerals than they would like. But anyways, as I mentioned before, the players are from Team My Insanity. My Insanity, actually a pretty cool team. I feel like they don't get nearly enough recognition for how many good players they have. Some of the cooler players they have, given all StarCraft players are cool, obviously. Not a single one is a jerk. Anyways, we have A-Bomb, if you guys remember him. I was casting his games right when the Heart of the Swarm beta came out. He was doing a lot of cool builds and stuff. It was awesome. Some of the other players they have, Penguin. That's Penguin with a W-I-N. Of course, Niroxs is there. There's also Stardust. And the 2 that you guys probably know a little bit better, if not best, are going to be Tarson and Wilco. I think that's probably their 2 most well-known players as far as actually attending tournaments. They do have a B team as well. One of their players on their B team is actually Korean, and on their A team, Stardust is their only Korean, actually. So, anyways, this game is from their in-house tournament. Basically, for those of you who do not know, basically I keep saying basically a lot. Basically, I'm saying basically way too much. Essentially, what most teams do is they will have a monthly in-house tournament to keep the players practicing against each other, to see kind of their rankings, to see who is the most successful player on the team within the own team. Because it's kind of like scrimmaging, basically. And this is from the finals of one of their in-house tournaments. And I actually really prefer to cast these in-house tournament games if possible. Number 1, because they're rare. Number 2, watching team games is always my favorite, just because these players know each other so well, or at least more than the average person you would run into on ladder, that a lot of mind games start to come into play. A lot of builds that you may not see in a normal tournament setting or even on ladder start to come into play. Because it's not necessarily about doing what the best build on paper is. It's more about doing what is the best build versus this player that I've practiced a lot against is. So we'll have to see right now, but so far it is going to be a macro style game here. Niroxs is going to go ahead and throw down his 3rd base here. That is right around the 5-minute mark. Pretty standard for Zerg players to do this versus a Forge fast expand. There is going to be, though, a Zealot out. The Forge is, of course, out. The interesting thing, though, is that Stardust has a lot of gas right now. So what is he going to spin that on? Well, first of all, he is going to be spinning it on a +1 attack. The Overlord right here. Oh, it's so hard to do that noise when you're tired. Probably should wait till I'm a little bit awake to go ahead and do that. But anyways, that Overlord there does get shot by the cannon. However, he has seen basically everything. And he might even know that the +1 attack is on the way. But either way, that's going to be a very early +1 attack. And notice the Chrono Boost out on the Stalker. I actually really like this from Stardust. He's going to be quite aggressive with this. He did accidentally supply block himself here, though, so there's not going to be a second Stalker just yet to follow it up, unless he timed it perfect. Nope, slightly off there. So he is supply block for the duration, and yep, you can see he did have another Stalker queued up. Did he Chrono Boost that one out as well? Yeah, so unfortunately for him, this timing is actually thrown off by a couple of seconds, just because of that supply block. Not the biggest deal, though. I think a lot of times people overreact to seeing a supply block, because obviously you never want to be supply blocked. You want that number to be 0. However, it doesn't put you as far back as you might think it does. So we'll definitely see if this actually ends up working out or not. The Zealot right here trying to kill off the drone does force the extractor there. The Zealot right now got to be practicing his arm workouts by trying to tear down this building. We got a construction worker Zealot over here, and can he keep that Zealot alive? Keeping it alive would actually be huge. He would have loved to keep that Zealot alive until that +1 attack is done. The reason is, I mean, we say this every time, but it plays such a vital role throughout all stages of this matchup. The important part about the +1 attack is that you kill Zerglings in 2 hits as opposed to 3 with Zealots, and that makes a big, big difference. Now, obviously, having the +1 attack on these Stalkers here is going to help out. He's got 3 Stalkers. That's 2 more on the way. No double Sentry. Both players, though, kind of struggling with these supply blocks right now as Sirens outside, man. Imagine if the game played a bunch of Fireman Sirens every time you got supply blocked. I sure as hell wouldn't forget to get some build pylons. But anyways, it does look like the Stalkers right now. Gotta try and deal with these Lings, but Zergling speed is now done. I believe the Zerglings win this battle. It is 5 Stalkers, now down to 3 versus all these Lings, and unfortunately for Stardust, that is gonna be it. Losing a lot of Stalkers here. Now he does back the Stalker into the corner here one last time to try and get any last-minute kills. Not going to happen, though, but losing 5 Stalkers there, that's rather sloppy. We'll see if Stardust is able to kind of pull himself back up and manage to deal with the amount of Lings that are on the field here. He has to make sure to not take too much damage. Ooh, I like this. Warping in 2 Zealots here. I don't think these Zealots are really going to pay for themselves for what they're doing, and I don't know if he even realizes this, is it's going to get this army out of position. So he lost 2 Zealots, which is 200 minerals, the Pylon, which is 300, and the Probe, which is 350. However, he is bringing all these Zerglings back, and what that means is that he actually has time now to get out of his Mothership Core. He's got the +1 armor on the way now, and he's slowly massing up on these Phoenix. Now, you got to remember, the reason that getting that army also out of position is important is because Phoenix, not the best unit for defending versus Zerglings. Yes, you have sentries and a cannon here, but with this many Lings, I mean, he can continue to stream these in here, maybe try and go for these rocks or something like that, and just relying on a few sentries is never comfortable for Protoss, so we'll have to see. Oh, that poor little changeling there did not stand a chance. However, he did make it up the ramp because the cannon does not shoot them right away unless you manually tell it to. It does look like the Overlord right here, or the Overseer, excuse me, they are not the same thing. It's basically like Pokemon, man. I feel like Zerg have slowly turned into Pokemon, where you have the evolution of the Overlord from a regular Overlord to the Overseer. You had the evolution of a Zergling into the Baneling, and you had the evolution of Hydras into Lurkers, and Swarmos are kind of the same thing, but I guess slightly different now. But we do have right now the drones getting taken out. This is a lot of Phoenix here. They are out of energy, but that's always a good sign. That means you've killed off as many workers as possible right now. So I think that Niroxs is losing that edge he got after killing out those Stalkers. You can see he has evened this out in a big, big way. Overseer is still chilling out over here. This Overlord going to be pooping creep. Moving it down a little bit to the center there will delay those expansions even longer. Mass recall, but not really that mass, as it's just the one that I think it's just called, no, it is called mass recall, which is exactly what it was called in, or is it mass teleport in Warcraft 3? Either way, it wasn't very mass, as it was just the one Mothership Core there. Overseer going to get taken out, drops the Changeling. What's going to kill this? Is Mothership Core going to do it, or does he even notice it? That is a sneaky Changeling there, as should be able to scout out a little bit if he wants to. And yeah, that Changeling is actually alive. Has spotted the fact that there is something coming out of the robotics facility, so that's actually pretty big. Muta Corruptor is now out. Now, the interesting thing about the unit composition of Muta Corruptor is that it's really, really, really good, but the Corruptors are relatively slow in comparison to the Mutas, so the Mutas become much less agile. It does look like the expansion over here may get taken out, or at least a lot of damage dealt to these cannons, which will then leave the Nexus exposed there. Can he force cancel? Yes, he does. Stardust unable to hang on to that. Looks like either a Mutalisk or an Overlord. Yeah, it was a Muta there. Getting taken out as it accidentally flies into the main base. But yeah, Muta Corruptor is such a weird unit composition to see. We don't see it nearly as much as you might think, but that's very good versus Skytoss. It's very good versus Colossus. It's very good versus a lot of stuff. However, it's actually favorable to Protoss right now. What was that drone doing? He was just a crazy scout, I guess. It's actually favorable to Protoss right now to get a lot of gateway units versus this, because Blink Stalkers are really going to be kind of your money unit versus Corruptor Muta. And you can see Blink on the way. We saw a big warp in of Stalkers here. Kind of curious to see what other unit composition he gets, because having the 4 Phoenix here, they basically have passed the point of being useful for harassment, but they're still very useful at absorbing shots from the Corruptors. They're also very good at dealing damage to the Mutalisks, and of course taking out this Overlord here, who is currently pooping. And it looks like our Zerg player trying to deal with those rocks just to try and march in there, force that army out of position. But guess what? Both these players want to bust out these rocks. I feel like Stardust has made the right choice so far this game in not overcommitting to tech right now, and instead relying on basics. like ground gateway units. Now, normally in PvZ, I wouldn't recommend this, but considering that we're seeing so many corruptors this early, keep in mind, these corruptors are before Colossus come out. So these corruptors are really here just to try and deal with some of these Phoenix. And so gateway units are the correct choice, in my opinion, especially with more of the Mutalisks on the way. 8 mutas now, 9 mutas on the way. This is going to bring the total muta count. What exactly is it right now? It's up to 18. Wow, Niroxs is really powering on these mutas. Now, the problem here is that he has yet to find a place that he can actually attack with these mutas. Oh my god, the Zerg is making it all the way inside the main base. There's a lot of cannons here, though, so he's not going to do as much damage as he was hoping for. Tons of static D right now. It does look like the probes will eventually get taken out, though. Mutas right there are getting intercepted as they try and do more and more damage. Now, he did clean out the cannons, but, I mean, really at what cost? Literally at what cost? We'll see that he has ended up losing a lot more there than a damage dealt. He's got to be careful with the mutas there. He will end up losing one. Not the worst case scenario, especially now that it's 3 bases, though. He can't really afford to lose too much more. He's got to get to 4 and 5 bases right now. Could engage those Phoenix directly, but I mean, the Phoenix have paid for themselves 4 kills, 3 kills, and 4 kills a piece on those Phoenix. And again, the gateway units are just so strong right now because there's not enough stuff on the ground to force a transition out of Protoss. We're not seeing tons of Roaches or Hydras to force out the Colossus. We're not seeing anything that's going to be forcing out Archons. I mean, we do have a Dark Shrine on the way now, but this is not rushed at all. This is going to be the perfect timing right now for Stardust, and so Niroxs really needs to figure out, how do I do damage with these mutas, how do I get the army out of position, and how do I continue forward here with a future tech switch. But unfortunately for him right now, he doesn't have that tech switch. Yes, he's going to be able to kill off these rocks to secure that 4th base. He would have loved to have been able to tech switch or even have a 4th base by now. A lot of spines up here at the natural and the 3rd base here. This is actually a surprising amount of spines for how far throughout the game we actually are. Now, normally you would expect to see this in the late game, but what this is going to do for Niroxs is actually make it nearly impossible to kill him. Oh, that poor drone totally got denied there. But hey, at least he didn't have giant rocks fall on his face and kill him. There's always that. And is Stardust going to kill off these rocks? Nope. If you're wondering why not, it's because his entrance right here is so small that he can't really move in and out quickly. So that's what this entrance is going to be for, I assume. He could, of course, always kill this pylon and then move in and out and then close the other side to be able to defend it. But still, the fact that... Oh, God, that one Phoenix is trying to get the hell out of there. But the fact that Niroxs is allowing this 3rd base for Stardust to stay alive. Not that he's like sitting back and going like, all right, you can have that, but he hasn't been able to kill it off yet. And the fact that the 3rd base now has become the 4th base, this really favors Protoss if you can find yourself in this position, because this makes you a lot more viable in the late game versus Zerg. The muta count, though, is still so high. I do believe this probe will get taken out. The Mutalisks, though, can literally just fly into the main base and kill off everything. Now, as Protoss, what do you do in this situation? It can be very frustrating to go against. A couple DTs actually going to be slipping in here. This is a good start, but you just got to keep throwing down those cannons. Try and get out a splash damage unit, whether it's going to be the Archon or the High Templar. You need to find a way to deal with those mutas. Also, dealing as much economic damage to the gas is definitely the best way to go about it, because the less gas equals less Mutalisks, and then that gives you more time to get out Archons. I think Mass Archon would actually be a good choice right now. But Psystorm going to be the name of the game. +3 attack is nearly done, making those Archons, if he is to get them, they will be very ridiculous. And what is also ridiculous, though, is the Mutalisk count. I don't know if I've ever seen a Zerg player get up to this many mutas and then lose. Honestly, there's just so many that what are you supposed to do? You have to try and find an absolute favorable engagement. You have to get the +3 attack, but you also have to get the armor and shield upgrades, because those mutas just do so much damage with those glaive worms bouncing all over the place. So mass muta so far versus mostly pure gateway. Colossus at this stage are going to be the most worthless thing ever. Those like the mutas right there are going to force the cancel, but again, with so many mutas on the field, there's really no way to secure that right now safely. So losing that is actually to be expected here. But a lot of cannons are out now for Stardust. Those bases are not going to go down in a frontal assault just yet, especially that army is there with the Psystorms, with the Stalkers to help with that anti-air. It does like Stardust, our Korean player, going to be moving out right now, though, but with so many spines. This is so awesome out of Niroxs. Just so many spines everywhere you look. I mean, how many does he actually have right now? Taking a look at the Structures tab over here, you can see 23 spines with 7 more on the way, bringing that grand total up to 30, which that feels good for any Zerg player, because really the thing about spines is that they're good versus everything that comes out of a gateway. I mean, yes, you know, Stalkers can blink around and all that, but when all is said and done and the battle's actually taking place, they are good versus all gateway units, including, I would say, the Archon and most everything else that Protoss have. Just because they have so much HP, it's impossible to burn through them before constant reinforcements are showing up for our Zerg player. You can see 2 armor on spines is why they are so good at delaying pushes and things like that, buying the Zerg enough time to get exactly what he wants. Big blink forward. Does take out the Overseer, not that big of a deal. Archon still would be quite nice here. A couple big volleys on this Mutalisk flock would end his day. 52 mutas right now for Niroxs. He's going all muta spine crawler, which is definitely interesting here, but it basically is a forced turtle style, because what can Protoss really do to break this? Not a whole lot. What they can try and do is expand, but with this many mutas, that's nearly impossible. Oh, War Prism there. You got to be careful. High Templar are inside, though. That would be terrifying. Notice one thing, though, that Stardust is doing is actually leaving High Templar back at his bases to be able to storm. 2 High Templar right there. They have enough energy for a lot of storms. Just gotta go ahead and speed it up, since we're kind of having a game of cat and mouse right now, where these Mutalisks are trying to make something happen, and looks like they will find an opening here. There could be a ridiculous storm, though, if those Mutalisks are not careful. Where is the storm? High Templar, there you go. And, oh, actually chases them over the high ground, or the low ground, I guess that technically would be, the valley, where no ground units can go, but apparently Storm's still effective for now down to 49 mutas. It's not often that I say, and now our Zerg player is down to 49 mutas. Now, the thing that sucks for Protoss in this situation is look at how fast the HP regenerates on these mutas. That's going to be back to full almost immediately, so it becomes a situation where it's similar to Reapers, where you have to kill them right away, or they're just going to be back at full HP. So if you're going to commit on those storms, you had better damn well be sure that the storms are going to do lots of damage. And it does look like right now he could storm, whiffs that storm. I mean, it's nearly impossible to storm it perfectly to someone who has perfect Mutalisk control. However, keep in mind that StarCraft, it's impossible to play a perfect game. It's basically whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is the one who wins. Got to watch out for storm, storm, storm. And really, that's going to be the name of the game for this entire game. There's actually a drop here in the bottom right side. Manages to get one of the spires, and trying to get upgrades at those spires. That's going to be huge. The Mutalisk will fall back and be able to defend this. Will they be able to save the spire, though? Should be able to. Transfuse coming up, and it looks like Transfuse may have actually been what saved that, but either way, going to add that extra HP in. And the Mutalisk right here got to try and chase this down. The War Prism moves at 3.38. Mutalisk moves at 4, so you can eventually catch up to it and take it out. There we go. Down it goes. So War Prism does get kind of destroyed. I seriously don't even know what you do as Protoss in this situation. I mean, my heart says Archons, because that was the Brood War response to Mass Muta, but my mind says just try and land those storms, try and keep your Stalkers alive, and only make stuff that can shoot air. Everything in your army, you want it to be able to shoot air, or get the army out of position by warping it inside the main base, which is actually exactly what we're seeing right now. Storm drops coming down. How many kills was that? And once the Archon finishes, we should actually get a good tell on how many kills he has. 11 kills on that Archon. Keep in mind, it combines the kills of the High Templar. And the Archon here will get a couple more kills before getting taken out. And with +3 attack, that is devastating damage being dealt here. The Mutalisk flock, though, this actually just makes me want to vomit. There's so many Mutalisks. 61 Mutalisks. That is 122 supply in Mutalisks alone. Taking a look at the army supply, I don't know what percentage 122 is of 146, but that is the percentage of that army that is Mutas. He might actually end up losing this Spire here if he's not careful. And so close. He might want to throw down another Spire. 63 HP is a little bit too close for comfort. Oh my god, he's got more Mutalisks on the way. Are you kidding me? 61 is going to be up to 68. He might actually be at 69 pretty soon. It does look like right now that the Changeling's going to get taken out. Remember, you can kill Changeling just by right-clicking on them with your army. Do not have to do the attack command. 7 High Templar warping in. It's not letting me click where they're warping in, but there are a bunch of them over here. Archons are on the way, so it looks like he is going to take a note out of my book, which I highly, it's not a New York Times bestseller, so I don't recommend reading it. But my book says make a lot of Archons versus this amount of Mutas. We'll see if that actually ends up working out. I mean, when there's this many Mutas, cannons actually do nothing, and you're really unable to defend your bases whatsoever unless you have Storms or Archons. But Stardust, man, I mean, he's just taking so much damage, doesn't even kill that one Corruptor there, which also means that Niroxs is able to just bank so much money. What are you supposed to do versus this many Mutas and Spines? I literally am at a loss for words here as to exactly what you're supposed to do. I mean, you could try and go for Mass Muta, but then the tech switch to Ground Army is nearly impossible to stop. You could try and go for Archons, which is what we're seeing here. Looks like a couple of these Archons might get taken out. Ooh, a couple of big shots coming up. The Archons able to soften the Mutas heavily. And remember that Archons do additional damage to bio. They also do splash damage. Oh, gotta be careful. The Muta's not having much space right now to safely flap their wings away. Eventually, Stardust is going to have to attack, though. And the problem becomes, you know, once you're attacking those spines, you want the Archons attacking the Mutas, but the Archons might be attacking the spines themselves. The spines have so much HP. Oh my god, more Mutas are on the way. 65 Mutas with 7 more on the way. His entire army is going to be Mutalisks here. And this just shows you that as Protoss, you have no way of easily dealing with mass Muta. And a lot of people will say, well, just get all Archons. I mean, look how much he has spent on this army. Well, you got to remember that pure Archon is very susceptible to tech counterattacks and, or tech, not counterattacks, but tech switches in mid-battles. So you have to be careful. So, I mean, again, every single unit in this army can hit air except for the 2 Immortals. I'm not really sure what their purpose is. I think they've just been alive for a while. But the Muta's just non-stop everywhere, man. Notice he's trying to split them up as best he possibly can to dodge those storms. So far, so good. We'll be able to kill off yet another base and the Archon here. Just non-stop harassment on these Mutas. And again, it kind of becomes a game of cat and mouse where both players are really trying to figure out, well, how do I actually engage here? I think what Stardust is trying to do is just, you know, basically starve out the Zerg player. Oh, Storm could be pretty good. Lots of damage being dealt. I mean, that's damage in the hundreds that is being dealt, but it's not enough to actually kill off any of these units here. And neither player wants to engage directly because you can end up losing your entire army one way or the other, depending on the Archon shots, depending on the storms, and depending on the splits. It can go either way. War Prism right here. Goodbye. I think he was trying to storm drop there, but not today. And I gotta say, Niroxs, for having a relatively low amount of drones, only 41, he does have a lot of money in the bank, so he could tech switch to Ultras here. I think actually throwing down an Ultras Cavern will be a great backup plan. Kind of an insurance policy that if you end up losing these Mutas, you have a completely different tech choice that you can try and use. All right, what's the final count? 69! 69 Mutas on the field. And again, I feel like Protoss really has no way of economically dealing with this by massing up all of one of their own units. They actually have to get a big unit composition differential between the basically what they have. You have to have Stalkers, you have to have Storm, you have to have Archon, you have to have potential Phoenix here. It is definitely a tough choice. And with so many spines, it's actually impossible for Protoss to engage, and they have to try and get lucky. Stay up all night to get lucky. That song from Daft Punk, I feel like, is about this game here. It's definitely not about having sex. It is definitely about trying to deal with this amount of Mutas in a game. How does he even find supply for more Mutas? That's the real question on my mind. 77 Mutas now. 2 more on the way. I guess losing those drones just frees up more supply for additional Mutalisks. So we'll see if we can actually manage to make this happen. This is seriously the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen as far as Mutalisks are concerned. He's making even another one right here. 78. He's going to be to 79 pretty soon. If he ever makes it to 100 Mutalisks, I'm just going to laugh all the way to, well, I'd say the bank, but the amount of Mutalisks here doesn't affect my bank account. So it does look like right now the Mutalisks got flying here. He's got to be so careful of Storm. Oh, God, the High Templar. Oh, got to watch out, man. That High Templar's ready for it. He makes it happen. So much damage. I mean, it just does, you know, about 20, 30 damage per Muta. There's 70 Mutas, so you do the math on that one. That might actually be just enough damage for Stardust to move forward here. Decides not to just yet. He's realizing, all right, our Protoss player is only on 4 bases, so I might be able to make something happen here. The Mutas, of course, though, are back now to full HP just because they regenerate that HP so quickly. Oh my God, I cannot believe how many Mutas are actually in this game here. And actually, let's go ahead and double check in that tab. 79 right now. 79 Mutas. Never in a million years would I expect to see this many Mutas in a game. But hey, this is StarCraft 2. Mutas are pretty freaking good. Archons do get a couple of shots off. But you got to remember that, you know, killing a couple Mutas here and there is the equivalent of killing a couple Roaches or a couple of Hydralisks because he's not cutting into that bank of his opponent, which means that in an upcoming battle, Niroxs is going to have more money to remax. And Stardust, he's throwing down so many cannons, I feel like this doesn't even pay for the base that he's about to mine. Maybe I'm mistaken here, but how many cannons is this actually? Oh, the Mutas here. A couple good storms. Still not enough to do the devastating damage he needs to. Does get a lot of them in the orange, though. And honestly, with this many Mutas in the game, oh God, more Mutas are on the way. We do have a Greater Spire on the way. I think actually going for Broodlords is the correct choice right now because he definitely needs to get those out. Oh, Mutas playing with death right now. Literally just a couple of shots from an Archon on those clumped up units is going to be more than enough to kill off all of those Mutas. And the Mutalisk count, while it may have been low there for a moment, we are right back up. I think we're, yep, 81 mutas. We have reached the 80 muta mark. Now, normally I would say minute mark, but this time it is the 80 muta mark. Lots of fake warp prisms here. This is mostly just for scouting, kind of see exactly what's going to be going on right now. And I guess right now we're just going to be seeing more and more mutas. The warp prisms over here continuing to scout out, giving him good vision. But now the mutas are inside the main base, can easily kill off. He actually has enough to kill a gateway in 2 volleys. That is how many mutas he has. He has also upgraded them all the way. 3-3 is done for these guys. And that means that just volley after volley are going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. This game is just silly. I mean, what do you do in this situation as either of these players? I honestly don't know. Yes, a couple of mutas died, but guess what? 11 more are on the way. Overall unit tab is 71, so yeah, that'll bring it back up to 81 once those spawn. I think he can just go straight for the Nexus if he wants to. Keep in mind that mutas, they do so little damage up front that having this many that can 3 or 4 shot a Nexus is actually absurd. Oh, he's got to be careful here. You do not want to engage those Archons. I don't care how tempting it is. You have to find a way to deal with those a little bit later. Look at the DT counterattack over here. Actually going to be preventing a 5th base from going up. However, Niroxs still has about 8,000 minerals and 3,000 gas here, which is quite the bank. A couple of DTs going to get taken out as well. Mutalist count now back up to 80 with 2 more on the way. Oh god, this game is absolutely silly. How many drones are in the game? Well, you know, I don't know why he has 30 drones. That is 15 more mutas. Then he could just be all supply on mutas. But look at that. Look at that. This is some Batman stuff right here, man. They almost are flying in like a star formation a little bit. Oh god, you got to be careful. I think more Archons is the correct way to go. But everyone has fully upped units, and they have the units that they need versus their opponents. So overall units lost, look at this, almost identical, 21,000 to 22,000. So those mutas, oh god, I hit the wrong button again. This happens every time. There we go, and we're back. But anyways, the mutas are going to be able to kill off the main base. I honestly don't know why he just doesn't go for the main base. Oh god, these High Templar have full energy. Full energy on these High Templar. We'll see if they can manage to land those storms. Here they come. The High Templar in position. Could throw down some storms. Does he decide to? He does land one. And mutas do not have that much HP, so they take a lot of damage from these storms. So we will see. It's just mutalists are literally so fast. I don't know why there's a unit that is like, oh, Archon there unable to get the shots off it needs. Because remember that one Archon can do splash damage to every single unit if it is clumped up too much. We haven't quite seen that happen just yet. A couple of storms land again, but again they can just begin regenerating their HP. One Archon done. He has enough mutas now to kill Archons in one volley, which is going to be quite tough. This is very similar to kind of what we used to see in PvZ back in the day, back in Brood War, where the micro of the mutas was basically everything. Your whole build relied on microing them correctly. But I gotta admit, I feel for Stardust. It's so difficult to deal with this many mutas. They are so fast, and especially with the 3-3 upgrades, is just a little bit ridiculous here. 42 minutes into a game. It sure still doesn't feel like 42 minutes, but another storm right there. These mutas, if they are not careful, they will end up losing their lives. Oh god, do not overcommit here. Do not overcommit. Yes, he killed off the Nexus, but if he gets hit by 1 or 2 more storms, then he does not going to have any more mutas. He's going to back up for now, but these mutas are all in the orange. Transfuse not really going to be helping out here all that much. I mean, he's basically regenerating like hundreds of HP every couple of seconds. But still, they are not at full HP. That means less and less storms needed to actually kill them off. The base in the top right side should get taken out right now, as Niroxs is going to be moving out with his mutas at the bottom location as opposed to trying to defend. He's got to watch out, though, for the High Templar. There's still enough energy for storms. This High Templar down here has full energy, can keep storming. I don't know why these mutas are fully overcommitting here, but they are deciding to go for it. Ooh, that is why. Unpowering all those cannons. Goodbye Nexus, goodbye cannons, goodbye probes. That base is not going to happen down here. Not that really I think he expected to hold on to that base, but for now, it looks like Niroxs still has about a 10 grand bank overall, and a slight lead here, I would say. I mean, number one, he does have a lot in the bank, which tells a lot about this game. I mean, he just hasn't lost that much. The mass mute is so good. Oh dear. Oh, that might be it. Nope, not yet. Thought it was going to be the best storms in the world, but not quite yet. I mean, really, with the speed increase that they got and with the HP boost that they got, how are you supposed to kill this many mutas? It's basically impossible. You have to try and force an engagement somewhere on the map where the Zerg player does not want to be and is defending assets that it does not want to lose. And so far, we just haven't been able to see that here. So it does look like this army now is more aggressively pronged. High Templar are going to get taken out. Oh, God. Oh, God. You got to be careful with these mutas because, seriously, 1 or 2 more storms on top of this. And you're going to end up losing all your mutas. A lot of them do fall there down to 82. But he cannot be aggressive with these for the next couple of minutes. He has to let them regenerate HP. If he does not let them regenerate HP, he is going to pay the ultimate price by losing all of those. And I gotta say, what great patience by Stardust. He's not trying to end the game. He's not trying to force an engagement at a bad location. He's just running around, making sure that there's no 5th base. If there's no, ooh, then this is exactly why the patience is going to pay off. Patience is indeed a virtue right now. And the mutas over here, High Templar. Ooh, he could have killed all of them. He's got to try. He's got to try. I think he's got to get it. No storms coming out until it was too late. All of those High Templar are getting absolutely destroyed. Niroxs, though, does not have that much gas in the bank. And you got to remember that he is mined out at his main base. This one's only got 500 left. His fourth base, I guess is technically his 3rd, is mined out on gas. His natural is mined out on gas, and his 4th. So he actually has no more gas income at all. Only 6 gas in this game. This is the problem with Mass Muta at this point, is that if you are unable to expand and get that gas income rolling, then all of a sudden you cannot replace these units. So these Mutalisks are basically invaluable right now. If he loses them, he will lose the game. And you can see the supply is slowly starting to plummet for both players. Niroxs is able to get that back up just by making Zerglings, but he doesn't really want Zerglings. I don't think they're actually even upgraded. Maybe they are, but either way, he does not want to have Zerglings right now. So take a look at the units. What's the upgrades? There's an upgrades. G is the upgrades one. There we go. So we can see the 3-3-3 for Protoss, 3-3 for Zerg Air, but no upgrades for Zerg Ground. So that means that those Zerglings literally are going to be doing like 1 damage per shot. Yes, you can use them for counterattacks. Yes, you can use them to absorb damage and protect the mutas, but they just aren't going to be killing off a whole lot at this stage of the game. The Mutalisk count still ridiculously high. I mean, what do you even do, again, versus that many mutas? He's got to try and engage that. Takes out a couple High Templar, takes out a couple of Stalkers. But now our Protoss player actually starting to have the better bank just because he has these bases over here that are still mining gas, which is more than Niroxs can say for his army and his economies here. So basically, we're just going to keep an eye on these mutas, see if they are up to no good, and just sit back and wait. I mean, this is why Zerg players lately have been playing a very defensive style, because you can get away with it. It allows these games to go into the late macro phase. It allows you to be able to do stuff like Mass Muta. It allows you to be able to slowly expand bases and be able to stay safe. So we'll see. Mutas right now going to be coming down here. Storms are landing, though. Does he decide to give up? Nope. Decides that, hey, I still want to win this. I am in it to win it. He's been stuck on 6 gas for quite some time, though, and you can see that he really wants to expand with the DT over here now with 11 kills. Got to be able to deny that from happening. And at what point, as Stardust, we just decide that enough is enough, let's go for it. Those storms are so strong. And Niroxs, man, he actually has too many mutas here. He doesn't have anything else whatsoever. He is completely susceptible to the Psy Storm. Completely susceptible to the Archons as well, and such patience by Stardust. Can he actually end this right now? I don't know how you can beat this style of play. I mean, is that 103 mutas? No, that's Zerglings. Okay, 70. I was gonna say right here, I thought it was 103 mutas, but that includes those lings. Here comes the mutalist right now. Honestly, I think he just needs to go for the main base. Ignore this whole army shenanigans. Try and kill him off in the main base. Careful with those mutas. He's actually starting to get really, really low on the mutalist count, and there's a storm. Over and over and over again. How many times have I said storm this game? Probably a lot, but that is kind of the name of the game right now, as these mutas really want to make something happen. You can see 176 supply to 182. He has the ability to win here. He just needs to engage at a favorable angle, but I don't really know what angle that is going to be. He wants to kill off the High Templar if possible. I really don't know if that is possible. I think that the mutas just need to go for the base kill. You know, snipe as many High Templar as you can. And whoa! That's going to be doing lots of damage to those lings. Oh god, those mutas sitting right in it. One more storm's actually going to kill a ton of mutas. Yep, that hacked into that muta count number in a big, big way. 62 mutas now. And Stardust's patience this game is seriously one of the most inspirational things I think I've ever seen. Just sitting back, taking more bases, waiting for the mutas to engage, and not running into that spine crawler wall, because that will be the death of you. Now, does a big storm kill off all these mutas, or is it going to be a slow whittling away? There's going to be the dance of those lings. He knows that he's actually probably screwed right now. So he dances the Lings to try and make it happen. The Lings actually serving no purpose at this point in the game, and it looks like Stardust got to be ready to go for the kill. Can the Mutas actually engage? The problem at this point is the Storms are just never going to end, and they're there on the left side, continually getting stormed. Going to be able to kill off the majority of these units, and there goes the Mutalist. Oh my god, down to 4 HP. That was like the fastest supply drop ever. Let's actually go back and watch that really quick again. I think that was like 180 supply drop just immediately. But I think that this showed two very important things. Number one, how good Mass Muta is, and number two, how to help deal with that as Zerg, or as Protoss, excuse me, because you're going to have one hell of a time in dealing with that with a standard unit composition. One Colossus or anything like that, I think this game would have looked different. I think the Zerg would have taken it, but at this point of the game, I think Niroxs maybe just realized I actually have no hope of winning. I have these mutas, I'm stuck with them, I can't engage this army directly just because there's going to be so many storms. Alright, this was the final battle right here. It is 140 supply. It drops down to about 4 almost immediately. There's the dance on the Lings once again, always fun to watch. And 126, yeah, I think at this point Niroxs realized that he had lost. And we will see. 126 lets the storms begin. I mean, he dodges them there momentarily. He's got to dodge them for so long. And 122, look how fast that plummets. Oh my god. Oh my god, down to absolutely nothing. That's going to be it. So, Niroxs going to be defeated here. Stardust is going to be your winner. So, big shout out to My Insanity for the replay as Mass Muta. Very, very difficult to deal with as Protoss. I think this is a good learning game to kind of analyze as Protoss, to realize, all right, if I'm going up against Mass Muta, if they have tons of spines, I can't kill them, but I have to continually defend against harassment. I have to get units that are really good versus air, and I really have to commit to that. Now, what I would have liked to see is maybe a tech switch to Ultra, see if that would have worked out or not, just because there was really no Immortals in this game, but it was just not meant to be. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time!